Hi everyone, in today's tutorial I'm going to teach you how you can embed CSS in the HTML, and we can do some responsive things. We're going to add some table and we're going to update their properties using CSS file. You can embed the CSS in the HTML, or you can have an external file which will be linked to that HTML file. So we're going to do some basic stuff in this one, and I will teach you how you can actually add the CSS tag and CSS code in different tags of HTML. So starting with the HTML code, HTML actually starts with opening and closing tag named as HTML. So the tag you're gonna open will be closed by putting slash on the first slash as the first letter in the closing tag. So this is the shell for any HTML file. So if you have to make an HTML file, so you have to start with a closing, an opening and closing HTML tag. So the next tag we would have as a header, it is called head tag. Head tag will have a closing tag with the slash as well. So in the HTML file there are two sections. One is the header section, the other section is the body section. So whatever will be outside of that body we'll call as header. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add these tags first, so you will know exactly where you need to place them before you actually start adding more tags in it. So in the header tag and the body tag, the header tag will include all the meta tags. The meta tags will be actually, if you index your website on Google, the only thing Google is going to read is your header part. So the header tag will have title, description and keyword section, and the body section would have different tags, like it will have your header, it will have your heading tag, it will have your body tag with the paragraphs, and it will have your tables and a lot of other tags which will go in your body tag. So starting with the header tag, we will have our title tag. So what title tag will have, so whatever will go on top of the browser, it will fall under your title tag. So for example, if I type in hello world, this will come as a title. So I'm going to save this file as HTML so we can actually learn on the go. So I'm going to make it as index, or I can say call it home.html. So if you go and double click on this file which we just did, so you can see on the title, on the title part of this browser, you can see the title tag we just did as hello world. Okay, and going towards the body tag, it will cover everything what will come on the body of this browser. For example, we can start with different heading tags. So I can show you, like H1 is the biggest size of the heading. So every tag, as I mentioned, needs to be closed with the same closing tag with the slash on the first. So for example, this is my H1 heading, and if I go H2, this is my H2 heading. The reason I'm doing it, actually you will be able to see what is the size of heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, so on to heading 6. So that's why I'm trying to put all the heading tags here to show you what is the heading size for each heading tag. So heading 3, I'm going to close this one. I haven't closed the upper one. So with the next heading tag, I'm going to do H4. This is my H4 heading. So the next would be H5. So we're going to close this tag. Then we're going to have H6 heading. So you need to make sure the tag you're opening should be closed as the same tag. So if I actually go File, Save, and refresh the browser, so you can see all the sizes of each heading tag. So H1 is the biggest one, so H6 is the smallest one. Okay, so we're gonna start using CSS file. See, like CSS, how you're gonna add CSS in it. So with the CSS, you have to open up a style tag. So everything falls under the style would be your CSS information, CSS coding. So whatever we're gonna type in the style tag would actually fall under the style tag. So whatever I'm going to type in here, for example, I would say font size as 50 pixel, 40 pixel. If I save it and refresh, so you can see this size has been increased to 40 pixel, which I just did. I can control the size of each tag from CSS. I can update the colors for each heading from CSS. So individually we can control all the styles from the style sheet. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to add color for the heading, which I'm going to use as red color. So as you can see, the moment I change the color to red, it changed on the page. So now I'm going to change the font of this one. To change the font, I need to change the font. First of all, I need to change the font family. I'm going to use Arial for this example. If I just refresh, you can see it has been changed to Arial font. So this is the way to add a CSS coding which can actually link back to anything in the body tag. So now I'm going to squeeze this code so we will have enough space to show. I'm going to put all the code in the one. So every line in CSS end with the semicolon. So the code falls under these curly brackets. Okay, so what I'm going to do with H2, I'm going to change the font size to 30 pixel, and then I'm going to change the color to blue, and I'm going to use the font family as Tahoma. And also I'm going to make it italic, or to make it if I want to reduce the bold size, so what I'm going to use the font weight normal. So if I use the font weight as normal, this will unbold the tag. So it has unbold the tag, unbold the heading, and made it in blue color and change the font to Tahoma. So the similar thing I'm going to do with our H3 with the other heading tag. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the font size to 20 pixel. I'm going to change the color to green, and change the font family to Arial. If I save it and refresh, so you can see the heading tag for heading 3 has been updated with green color, and I have changed the font family to Arial. Similar to, if you want to, you can do it from here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add horizontal ruler here. What it will do, it will add a straight line between heading 1 and heading 2. The next thing I'm going to do, change the style for this ruler tag. So I'm going to do HR. I'm going to do width equals 300 pixel. So if I go here, refresh, now it's a 300 pixel wide. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to change I want to float it to the left side. So what happened is, now the line is under H1, or I can do, let's see, align. Align doesn't work here, so I have to keep doing float. Okay, now I can see the H2 heading is actually coming at the end of this HR tag. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to add break after the HR break. So now you can see I've got heading 1, then I've got horizontal ruler, then I've got heading 2. So what I did, actually, I put a break line after this. If you don't want to add a break line, what you can do, you can set margins. So for example, I can say margin bottom 20 pixel. Even setting up a margin does not fix this problem. So that means you have to keep it with the break line, with the break ruler. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add paragraphs here. So paragraph tag starts with P and end with /P. So every paragraph tag has a opening and closing tag as well. So what I'm going to do, this is my first paragraph, and I am going to change its color, and will make few things bold and few things italic. So if I go and refresh the page, I can see I have added this whole paragraph here. So if I have to add 2 paragraphs, I would actually just go and type in P, open up a new tag and close it, and I can say this is my second paragraph, which will have a different font color and size from the paragraph 1. So if I save and refresh the page here, I can see I've already added 2 paragraphs here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually pick and choose the part of the paragraph and change the color from CSS. Okay, how we do it? For example, if I'm going to change color for this part, change its color. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a new tag called span. What it does, it will just cover from opening to closing span tag. For example, at the moment if you refresh, nothing will change. So we would have to update. For example, if I have to change the color, what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce style sheet here. So I'm going to start with style. I'm going to update the style code using color. I'm going to change it to red and put the semicolon at the end. So that's how it will validate the code. So if I refresh the page, you can see it has changed the color for that particular test. So this text has been updated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a new span code just to make this word bold. Okay, I'm going to do span. I'm going to close the span tag, and I'm going to do style. So I can actually go and change the font weight, which is called like the thickness of the font. I'm going to make it bold. So if I save the page and refresh it here, as you can see, this individual text has been bold now. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this particular piece of text to italic. So how I'm actually going to do, I'm going to introduce a new tag, a span tag here again, span, and then I'm going to actually update span. Okay, and here I'm going to add the style code. The style code then put in the semicolon, in the colons actually. I'm going to change the font style italic. See, this piece of text has been changed to italic. All these things I'm actually doing in CSS. I'm not actually using any HTML tag. I'm using all the tags relevant to CSS file. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to update information, update font family for the paragraph 2. So I'm going to introduce a new style tag in the p tag. I'm going to change the font family to Arial. Save and refresh. So as you can see, this paragraph has been changed to Arial font. So now what I'm going to use, I'm going to introduce tags inside the paragraph to change the font weight and the size. What I'm going to do, you can see, for example, if I want to change different font color in a span tag, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the style sheet for this particular span and change the font color. So for this example, I'm going to use color equals blue. So if you refresh the page, you can see this particular section of this paragraph has been changed to blue color. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the size of this particular text in this paragraph without touching anything else. I'm going to introduce the span tag. I'm going to add style tag in it, style. So I'm going to change the font size to 20 pixel. So what it will do, it will keep the size, a default size for the paragraph, but it will change size for this particular word in a different size. So I'm going to save this one, refresh. So as you can see, this particular word has been changed to a different size. So now I'm going to bold this particular text. I'm going to add the style information as font weight to bold. So if I refresh it, so you can see this particular text was increased in size, and now it has been changed with the different font weight, which is bold. So now I'm going to add another piece of information to make it italic. So I'm going to use font style and want to make it italic. Save, refresh. So as you can see, I have changed the size, the font weight, and the font style just at one place in the span tag for that particular word. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a different span for this particular word, and I'm going to underline this one. So I'm going to change add a span tag, close the span tag, and I'm going to add the style information for this particular span, and I'm going to add font style underline. So if you refresh, I'm not sure why the underline tag is not working, so, but we can actually change it to bold as well, just for the example. As you can see, maybe I have done something wrong with the code. Let me quickly check fonts. Okay, to change the boldness, it is font weight, not the font style. So if I actually change it, refresh, here you can see I have changed this particular span tag with a different format. So I'm going to add a different color for this one. For example, I'm going green just for this word. So you can see I have actually updated information for both paragraphs. For first paragraph I used the default font, but I changed the color for these three words. Then what I did, actually I kept the font as default, but I just bolded this particular text. In the second paragraph I changed the font of the whole paragraph, the font family. The second thing I did, I changed the color for this particular section with a different font color, and I changed this word with the different size of the font and different style, like I changed the weight of the font to make it bold. And then I changed the color of this word to green, and I then made it bold. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add an image. To add an image, I would have to make an image in the folder. So if I do right click on new, I can do a bitmap image. I'm going to name it as image, as at the moment it's empty, but I'm going to edit this one. Okay, I'm going to edit with the image. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just add different shapes, something just to make you feel like I have done this image. To save this image, back to the HTML, I'm going to add an image tag. img is for the image tag. So to call that file, I need to know the source. I have to add source for that file, as that file is being stored in the same folder, so I don't have to use any like any other type of direct or any other URL. I'm just going to type in the name image.bmp. If I actually go back to my browser, refresh, so as you can see, it has added the image here. So what I'm going to do actually, now I'm going to control the size of this image using CSS. So how I'm going to do it, I'm going to add the style information in the tag. So how it works actually, I'm going to change the width to 400 pixel wide. So if I go and refresh, so what it did actually, it reduced the image size to 400 pixel, but what it did actually, it automatically changed the height of the image as well based on its width. So I'm going to add its height as well. I'm going to use 100 pixel. So if I actually save and refresh, so you can see it has squeezed the image to make it look like whatever size we did 400 pixel wide, which is 400 pixel wide, but we did 100 pixel in height, which it actually squeezed the image and made it 100 pixel in the height. So you can see like we can control all like the image information using these CSS tools. Okay, so from this information, now what we're going to do, we're going to add a border for this image. So I'm going to add 1 pixel wide border around the image. So as you can see, it did not affect it because I did not actually add the color in it. So what you can do, if you remove this information and put in the image tag directly, so for example it will say border equals 1. So if you go and refresh, so you can see it has added the border. So what you can do actually, then border top 1 pixel solid, then you can introduce the color. I would say if I do this one, what it does, see, it has changed the top border of the image and made it red. That's what I did actually here. Even if I want to remove this border and put everything in the style sheet, I can actually do it. So from here you can see just one border on the top. That's what I did here. I did the top border and made it 1 pixel and made it solid. You can do it in dots as well. The dotted pattern is a different pattern as well. For example, if I want to bold the line and make it 2 pixel wide, so as you can see, now the header border is 2 pixel wide. or 2 pixels thick. So on. I'm actually going to add another border. I'm going to do a bottom one, but with a different color. So if I go border, bottom, 2 pixel solid, and if I do green color, so these color codes are in RGB, red, green and blue. If I do first 2 zeros, then 2F and 2 0, that will be R0, green full color, and 0 for the black one. Okay, so this will actually, if you refresh, so you can see it has the green color border at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to add another border with a different color on the left side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add border left 2 pixel solid, let me add, now I'm going to do the blue one. So if I refresh, so you can see it has now 3 borders. The top one is the red one, the left one is the blue one, the bottom one is the green one. So all of them are 2 pixel in thickness and different color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a different one for the right one. So I'm going to add border right 2 pixel dotted, and I'm going to do in black color. So as you can see, I have done the top bit with the red color, the left bit with the blue color, the bottom bit with the green color, and the right bit I have changed the style of the line to dotted, and then I have actually changed the font to black color. So this is all these information, all these style tags has been updated in the image tag. In HTML, the image tag doesn't have a closing image tag. The only thing would close it with 1/ at the end of the angular bracket. So this is the image we just updated. So if I actually play around with it a bit more and change the image size to 600 pixels, so you can see it will keep the same height which we did and increase the image width. So if I actually go and change the image width and make it a bit responsive, so how it's gonna look like, so I'm going to change max width. Okay, so I will tell you in another lesson like how you can make things responsive, like we can do image as a responsive image if you change the size, which will actually work on different devices on different resolutions. We can actually do in another tutorial, but on this one I'm going to teach you now how you can add tables in it. So with the table has a starting tag as table. It has a closing tag as well, which will be table. So every table has 2 sections. One is row and one is column. So how it works actually, the first thing you do actually is tr, all the TR would have a closing tag as well. So then we have TD, which is called table data. So the table data would be whatever you put in the table will appear here. So I would call it cell 1. So if you actually go and refresh the page, you can see I have added a table with only one column and one row. Okay, at the moment you can't actually see the borderline of it. That's why I would actually I would add some CSS here. So style, I'm actually adding border 1 pixel solid. So if I go and refresh, so you can see the table, it has only one column and one cell, one row and one column, which made it one cell. So if I actually go and type in another table data, so I'm going to use the same style code equals border 1 pixel solid, and I'm going to call it cell 2. I'm going to close the tag table data. If I go and refresh this, so you can actually see there are now two cells, which means we've got one row and two columns. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to extend the size of this table to match this image. So for this purpose, I'm going to change the table size. So how I'm going to do it, I'm going to add a style tag in it. Okay, and I'm going to call it as like 600 pixel width. So if you go and refresh the page, so you will know exactly what I did. I extended the table size to match the image. So what it did, actually, it stretched both cells and tried to match the image size. So as you can see at the moment, these cells have their text left aligned. If I want to do this text as center aligned, what I'm going to do, I'm going to update the table TD property here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do font align center. You refresh font, sorry. Align center. I'm not sure why it's not working, because sometimes the browser doesn't display whatever we want to. But what we can do, we can add a span tag here and close the span tag, and I'm going to actually now text align. No, this one is not working as well. So what I'm going to do, okay, so I'm going to remove the spans from here, and I'm going to do a header table, header data. So what the table header, what it does actually, okay, so over here I'm going to add th. Th is table heading, and table heading will close as th as well. I'm going to use th again, make another one to match the number of columns below. Okay, heading 1, heading 2. If you refresh, so you can see, okay, what I did actually, I tried to add them in the same row, that's why it's not working. So I have to remove it and put them in a separate row. I'm going to introduce a new row. Okay, so as you can see, all these headings popped up on these cells. So now I'm going to introduce, like I'm going to update the heading background. To do that, I have to update the style code. Background color. I'm just going to do it light gray. So if you refresh, so you can see the top heading has a light gray background. So the next heading, I'm going to actually change it to a slightly different color. Style, background, color. I would actually go a bit darker. So you can see first heading cell is in the light gray and the second one is the dark gray. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have borders around these headings the way we did in the data tags. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to update th style sheet and going to add borders in it. So I'm going to add border 1 pixel solid. I can even change the color of the border for header. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add slightly different color. So heading 1 has a slightly different border color. So now I'm going to do it for heading 2. I'm going to update border 1 pixel. I'm going to make it a bit more darker. Okay, now you can see this has a slightly darker borderline. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the font family for the heading tags and for the cells below. So I'm going to do update the font family for heading first, Arial. I'm going to do the same thing for heading 2. So once you refresh, you can see like both heading have Arial font now. So I'm going to change the font for the cells below. Cells here. Okay, so I'm going to change them font family Tahoma. Font family Tahoma. So as you can see, I have changed the font family for these two to Tahoma. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the background of these cells to slightly different. Background. Let me think, I'm actually going to do slightly different. D5, D5, D5. Okay, so I have changed the background color for cell 1 to slightly different one. So I'm going to change the color for the second cell to a different one. So as you can see, I have actually changed color for all the cells in a different background color and a different border color. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another row. Okay, so I have added one table, one cell under a new row. So I'm going to add another row, another cell actually in that row to make it to complete the next row. And I'm going to use the same background color. Okay, I'm going to close the table. This is the last cell. If I refresh, so as you can see, I have added 2 rows under the heading. So this is actually the full table. So if I have to change the font for these 2 cells, I would actually go here, font family, Tahoma, the same thing. If I want to bold this text, what I'm going to do, I'm going to update information in the same cell style. I'm going to change font family, font. I want to bold it. I'm going to do font weight, bold. So as you can see, I have actually bolded the cell, bolded the text for the last cell. So if I have to do just italic this bit of it, so I'm going to do here, I'm going to introduce a new span tag. I'm going to update the style code for this one as font style. Italic. So if you go and refresh it, so you can see the last text for this cell, I have actually made it italic. So the next thing I'm going to teach you in this one, how we're going to add bullet points. Okay, so to start with the bullet point, you need to start with all of them are known as list, and list tag will come as unordered list or ordered list. Unordered lists are the bullet points, and the ordered lists are the number points. So for example, if I go ul, so what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to do li is the list. I'm going to close the list tag. I'm going to do it my first bullet. If I save and refresh, so you can see it has added my first bullet here. I have to close the tag. So this is my first bullet point. If I keep going, my second bullet. If I refresh, and it will keep going. So these are the bullet points. This is the way you can actually introduce the bullet points, and you can actually update their information. For example, if I want to change the color or the font for this one, what I will do actually update the style information for the list tag. I would go font, family, Arial. I would go for the second bullet, style, font family, Tahoma. So for this example, what I did actually, I changed the first bullet point to Arial and the second bullet point to Tahoma. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the ordered list, OL. How ordered lists work, with the bullet points, it will add the numbers. This is number 1 bullet. And I'm going to add another one. This is number 2 bullet. So if you refresh, you can see it adds the numbers. Rather than the bullet points, it adds the number. So now if you want to change the font weight or the font color or the font family for these number 1, we can do that in the style, typing in the style information. So if I go style font weight bold, color red. If I refresh and go back and see what happens, so it changed the font weight to blue or to bold and changed the font color to red. Similar to this one, if I go actually here, style, and change the font family to Arial and font style to italic. If I refresh and go back to the page, so as you can see, we have updated the font family and the font style and made it italic. So this is, we are doing the same thing under, like we are updating individual styles for each bullet. So even if I go another list, close the list tag, this is number 3 bullet. So we didn't have to actually add numbers here, it automatically does for you. So as you can see, it added number 3, bullet number 3 here. So if we want to change the style, we're going to do font, family, Kahoma, font, and we're going to change the color to light gray. So for that one I'm going to use 666666. If I go and refresh, so you can see we have changed the color and the font family for the third bullet. So if we recap everything what we did, we added different heading sizes. We control these sizes from style tags up here. We changed the style for H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Then we added the paragraph tag. We changed the paragraph style, color style for a particular chunk of that paragraph, like we selected just these 3 words and added a span tag in it, which helped us change the color. And then we changed the font weight for this particular word to bold. For the next paragraph, what we did actually, we changed the font style, the font family for the next paragraph. We changed the color for these 3 words. We changed the size for this particular word. And then what we did actually, we changed the color and the font weight for this particular one. Then we added this image. What happened in this image, we managed to actually change the border for all the sides. We updated the top bit with the red color, we updated with the left side with the blue color, and the bottom was with the green color. For the right side, what we did actually, we changed the style of the border and we made it dotted as dotted line. Then what we did actually, we controlled the image height and width using the styles. So if you go and see the image tag, what we did actually, we changed the width to 600 and height to 100. So what it did actually, it controlled the image size and squeezed it down to 100 pixel and actually made the width what we did actually. Then we added tables here, table and cell. So the table has a starting and a closing tag. So a table has 2 sections. One is a row, and the information comes in rows as heading and a H tag, which is the heading tag, and the D tag, which is the data tag. So the data information we put in this tag is called cells here. The information we added outside the heading is called the cells. So these are the TDs and these are the THs. So what happened is, like all this information, what we did is we updated all the information in the table and the TH and TD cells. Like you can see, we have updated all the text here. All the style sheets we did is in the table. Then we did the bullet points. This is unordered. This is called UL, unordered list. The unordered list, it just come in bullets. The other one is ordered list, which is called OL. And whenever we do list under OL, it automatically comes as 1, 2, 3. I hope you got all the information about CSS and HTML in this particular tutorial. I know it's quite long actually, but you might have learned a lot. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.